how's it going? Today I wanted to take a couple minutes and I want to talk about your sleep system. Items that you use for your sleep system vary widely. Some people will opt to take fewer things, in terms of reducing their amount of weight that they carry. I, on the other hand, now that I'm getting older, if I don't get a reasonable night's sleep, it's going to be a miserable day on the trail. So my sleep system may be different than other people's, but I need to get that good night's sleep or it's just not going to be a great trip. And so what I do is I have several different options here. So let's start from the ground up. So this right here is a sleeping pad. It's a 2-inch thick self-inflating pad. And this one right here is one I just got in the last year or two. It's a pretty comfortable pad. And so all you basically do is you just unroll it, open the inflate valve, and then let it inflate for a little bit. After an hour or two, put a couple breaths of air in and you're good to go for your night's sleep. Be careful you don't overinflate it because sometimes that can cause pressure. You can pop them, poke a hole in, that type of thing. You want to just kind of find a medium density in terms of how much air you put into it. And so, if I wanted to take this one right here and I wanted to roll this thing up because, I can't carry it like this, is I'm going to roll like crazy here. And you can see that it's pretty big still. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on the ground and push on it. And so you can see what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to simply push as much air out as possible. And you do this every morning, and you simply just keep pushing on it like this. You don't want to pop it, but you want to get as much of that air out as you can. And so I close up the valve. And so when I do this, I'm going to continually be pushing more and more air out of this thing. There you go, nice and small. A couple pieces of grass, get those out of there. Don't want too much weight in there. And so then you got this right here. It has its own little stuff sack to kind of keep it protected during the day. I do carry this one on the outside of my pack. So that's a little bit of a violation of one of the rules I have. I just don't want a ton of stuff on the outside, but because of the size of this thing, it's going to take up so much room inside the pack. And it's light enough that it's not going to change my center of gravity, that I can afford to have this one on the outside of my pack, usually on the bottom side in the back. And there you go. There's my sleeping pad, right? I don't remember the weight off the top of my head. Not much, maybe a pound and a half is what this thing weighs. But for a good night's sleep, to me, that's worth it. Another system that I've got, an older one I have. The nice thing about this thing is look at the size of that, right? It is one that you can carry inside your pack. That's the advantage. The disadvantage is it takes about 30 breaths of air to get it to be a usable thing. The other disadvantage of one like this, well, two of them. One, I got this one on sale because someone returned it because it was too loud. Yeah, you roll around on it, it makes a few noises. I sleep with earplugs, and so something like that wasn't a big deal, but I got this for 30 bucks. It was a $180 sleeping pad. So look for those sales. Just got a tiny little stuff sack there. But all you got to do, it is not self-inflating. So again, you got to put a bunch of breaths of air into this thing. About 33 breaths of air, fill this thing up. But it's a pretty comfortable pad and it works pretty well. But here's the other disadvantage. If it pops, you're screwed. That's the thing. So I tend not to bring this one, but every now and then I take a chance and hope that the duct tape that I carry will fix it if needed. There's also other kinds of foam pads and things like that. I typically don't use them because they're thinner, and like I said, at my age, I need a little bit better night's sleep. So these are the best two options that I've come up with so far. So we got the sleeping pad down, and that's going to give you that insulation for warmth a little bit between the ground and you, but it's also going to help your back, as your shoulders and things like that. You're not going to wake up in nearly as much pain. When I was in my younger days, my brother and I were bike touring cross country. We'd just put up our tent and sleep right on the ground, and we could do that. Maybe that explains why I am the way I am now. Who knows? We'll see how the trail. Dun, 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 dun.